We're going to remain in 1 King because we are going to talk about commandment number 10, which I haven't touched on yet, which is do not covet your neighbor's house. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. In other words, do not envy what others have. So we're going to 1 King chapter 21 from verse 1 to verse 16. And we're going to talk about King Ahab, who did covet something that someone else had. So let's read it and find out. So sometime after these events, Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard. It was in Jezreel next to the palace of King Ahab of Samaria. So Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, "Give me your vineyard so I can have it for a vegetable garden, since it's right next to my palace. I will give you a better vineyard in its place, or if you prefer, I will give you its value in silver." But Naboth said to Ahab, "I will never give my father's inheritance to you." So Ahab went to his palace resentful and angry because of what Naboth the Jezreelite had told him. He had said, "I will not give you my father's inheritance." He lay down on his bed, turned his face away, and didn't eat any food. Then his wife Jezebel came to him and said to him, "Why are you so upset that you refuse to eat?" "Because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite," he replied. "I told him, 'Give me your vineyard for silver, or if you wish, I will give you a vineyard in its place.' But he said, 'I won't give you my vineyard.'" Then his wife Jezebel said to him, "Now exercise your royal power over Israel. Get up, eat some food, and be happy, for I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite." So she wrote a letter in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal. She sent the letters to the elders and nobles who lived with Naboth in his city. In the letters she wrote, "Proclaim a fast and seat Naboth at the head of the people. Then seat 2 wicked men opposite him and have them testify against him, saying, 'You have cursed God and the king.' Then take him out and stone him to death." The men of the city, the elders and nobles who lived in his city, did as Jezebel had sent word to them, just as it was written in the letters she had sent them. They proclaimed a fast and seated Naboth at the head of the people. The 2 wicked men came in and sat opposite him. Then the wicked men testified against Naboth in the presence of the people, saying, "Naboth has cursed God and the king." So they took him outside the city and stoned him to death with stones. Then they sent word to Jezebel, "Naboth had been stoned to death." When Jezebel heard that Naboth had been stoned to death, she said to Ahab, "Get up and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, who refused to give it to you for silver, since Naboth isn't alive but dead." When Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, he got up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite and took possession of it. Now that's a pretty extreme length to go to because you wanted something that someone else had. And it goes on later that the Lord does, have his judgment upon Ahab, but Ahab does repent and the Lord does have mercy on him, which, it just goes to show that the Lord will judge us, but he also does have compassion for us. But still, this is, this Jezebel woman is pretty evil woman, you know, for setting all that up, just to take possession of a vineyard. And you know, that's I guess the moral of this is that envy can make you do some pretty crazy things. It can put you in a mindset where you're not thinking clearly, and you can make stupid mistakes. You can do things that you wouldn't normally do just to get what you want. And that's a pretty dangerous position to be in, you know. I feel like, you know, I've definitely have fallen into that trap before. I think when I look back on my past, on my younger self, of course, like, you know, maybe there were things that I was envious of. But you know, I think it's just it's something that, like with every other sin, that we need to learn to control it. And if we pick up, you know, sometimes I think we need to ask ourselves, are we doing this because we really want it, or are we doing it because, you know, someone else has that and that looks good and you want that, you know? And you see that behavior in children, especially I see it with my son. He goes to kinder, and, you know, in childcare in kinder, kids do that all the time. Like, they'll see another kid playing with a toy, and then they want that toy and go and snatch that toy from the kid. And, you know, like, you know, kids, they don't know what they're doing, you know, they really don't. But us as adults, we do need to control ourselves and learn to pick up when something is making us envious, you know. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk on. And yeah, may God bless you all.